Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are all of you doing this morning? Yes, I had to put my pearls on, y'all. I had to put my pearls on. But I come to you this morning about Karmelo Anthony. It was very shocking. It was very surprising to hear some disturbing things. But you got to realize something now, and I'm realizing it too. He was only a kid. It has never been reported to the police. He never had a police record. Um, Even the text message, no one never reported it. So to me, all I can say, Russell Wilson them they have their work cut out for them. They really have their work cut out for them. But I'm still standing for Karmelo Anthony. Still standing for him. Not gonna turn my back on him, but I'm still standing for him. Sometimes young kids get into things and they don't understand when they're very young. But when they grow up, that's when the lights come. I believe when we was kids, we did a lot of things when we was kids. I know I was a fighter when I was a kid, and my parents set me down. They talked to me, and I had to change, and I did change, and I changed for the better. These young parents, they're trying to work, trying to get their careers together, and they're raising children. Now I understand why Carmelo Anthony's mom was a stay-at-home mom because she really was working with him. Attitude, behavior, things he's doing, and she was correcting him. And she ain't just started correcting him; she been correcting him for a long time. So everyone out there can criticize him. I'm not gonna criticize him. That's something I'm not gonna do. But one thing I do know: these games, a lot of kids take these games to heart. They think it's real, and it's not. I didn't allow my son to play games when he was that age. He couldn't play those kind of games. He wanted to play a game, he had to be a sports game, a football game, a basketball game, or a track game. And I think the only game he actually played was Madden. Madden. Yeah. And that's the only game I would buy for him. I didn't allow him to play with guns. I didn't allow him to watch those crazy um, cartoon episodes. I didn't do that because kids think they're real and they're growing up. I don't believe Karmelo Anthony mean to hurt no one or say anything to no one. And this is my defense. We're gonna get into the law. I was very crushed when I heard that, but he still deserved a fair trial. If his behavior was that terrible, I don't think 21 colleges would write in the city. Nothing was documented. Nothing was on record. And I mean, nothing in files, school files. They just documented in school files, but it was nothing to damage him. He has a great GPA. He worked hard, so that's the reason why he worked two jobs to stay out of trouble. Parents probably was very strict on him. I was strict on mine. Parents probably popped them hips. I popped my kids' hips, but he wasn't abused. He came from a loving set of parents. Parents tried to teach him the right way about life, how to get his education, because he was growing up into a young man. He came from a great set of parents. A great set of parents. Now you got to look at a lot of times kids gets in a lot of trouble because they be fighting for attention. Was Carmelo Anthony fighting for attention from home? Or was he fighting for attention from the school or from the teacher or among his peers? But do that give him a right to send ugly text messages? No, it does not. Does it give him a right to say he wants to do whatever to a school? No, it does not. At some point in time, he should have grown up. He should have been listening to the news, all this people going into the school, shooting and everything else. Now, there were some dates given out there. I'm not going to give the dates because I don't want nothing incorrect. But girlfriend, you know what, y'all? Just let me say what I need to say here. I didn't believe in my children dating in high school. I just didn't. I didn't date in high school. My parents didn't believe in that neither. Because that do cause a lot of problems, a lot of fiction. Now him and the girlfriend still together, but he sent this girlfriend a disturbing message through text, and she took it to administration, which she should have done. But they still together as of today. Okay, my question is to the girlfriend. If he was doing all that to you and saying all that to you, why would you want to be with him? Why? I wouldn't. And I would tell my girls, if a man mistreats you, why would you want to be with him? Leave. And don't look back. So it's two sides to every story. That's the reason why I said all this, it shouldn't even be in the court's records, but now they are. Now I understand why Mike Howard was trying to protect him in so many words. Under this gentleman's agreement, that's why he was trying to protect him, because he did not want that to come out. That is the reason why. And I understand that now. But you can't be biased. You got to do it for both sides. Mancast twins, it was terrible. Call people out their names, use the N word a lot, say the 3Ks. I mean, they had a history, and everything they did was documented. Legal wise, police records, arrest records, assault records. Karmelo Anthony didn't have none of that. All what they're saying that Karmelo Anthony did, it wasn't documented. So to this matter right here, here's the fifth team gonna have to come heavy and bring some kind of way for Judge Cheney to overlook this, because it's out there now. And I told you in my last video, Judge Cheney is not the judge to play with. He's gonna listen to every piece of document evidence. He's gonna listen, he's gonna read, he's gonna do everything he needs to do, because he's a fair man. And I told you, they went and got this judge out his retirement for this foolishness right here. And he's not playing. He's not gonna play with neither side. Neither. So Russell Wilson, keep you in my prayers, because you got a hard job here to fight to keep Karmelo Anthony, but he can get a fair trial or get a dismissal. Now this, oh Lordy, this, y'all, I really lost for words here. It moved me a little. It moved me a lot when I heard it. Because now they're painting him as a monster. And he's not a monster. He's human. He was young when he made those mistakes. Text messages. Come on, Karmelo. You should know better. You're a senior in high school now. You work 2 jobs. You shouldn't have been doing stuff like that. Somewhere down the line, the light should have came on and say, hey, I'm stopping all this. Because see, all this got you in a lot of trouble. It might not got you in a lot of trouble. It got you in a lot of trouble now because you went up against the twins. But you didn't cause the problem with the twins. The twins caused the problem themselves because they are bullies. You're not a bully. I have not heard or listened to anyone state that you're a bully. You're not. You just don't want to be bothered. And people keep bothering you. You just don't want to be bothered. And I understand that when you don't want to be bothered, you go away, you sit alone, or you sit by a friend, or a friend invite you somewhere to sit down, y'all communicate a little bit, and you on your phone texting. That texting will get you in a lot of trouble. Now, to me, they can use that in Texas. When you text, you have to be very careful what you put in a text. Because that can be subpoenaed in court. Like I said, I'm not an attorney, never studied law, but I understand. And I know his parents probably have talked to him several times about all that texting and all those animated, I guess that's what you want to call them, video games. You got to put a limit down. And I understand now why that father was getting on him. Because that father had seen trouble. That father was getting on him. When you're raising a teenage boy, it's hard. I raised a teenage boy. It was hard. You got to stand 10 toes above them. Because they're at the age to think they know it all, and they don't. That's why the mother was a stay-at-home mom, to keep control of her son. But when they gave him that car, I think that was one of the mistakes. Big mistakes. But he had 2 jobs, so they couldn't take him back and forth because they had other children to see about. I would have gave him the car and I would have had a track on it. And I would have gave him a curfew. That's another thing. I didn't hear nothing about a curfew. I was a senior in high school. I was 18 years old. I had a curfew. I was 35 years old and still had a curfew at home. Parents back then didn't play with kids. That's the reason why I said they bought the right judge, and Judge Cheetah is not the one to play with. That's the reason why he's given the Dream Team, Russell Wilson and his team, time to get all the evidence. And now they're working around the clock because of this gentleman's agreement. Mike Howard wanted to protect him and did not want that to come out in court. He wanted to focus only on the fight under the tent. That's what Jeff Madcap said, so I don't know. But y'all, let's get this thing started here. This was my opening. I'm praying and reading the scripture. I read Proverbs 18. Oh, I got it up here somewhere. I'm just choked up. I'm upset. this really is upset about what came out on yesterday on Carmelo Anthony. You know, I don't know. He always been a small boy growing up, because people will pick on you when you small, when you obese size, and they just pick on you. But I read a scripture this morning, Proverbs 18 and 17, and we ask for evidence, and it states in the scripture say, the one who states his case first seems right until the others come and examine. So I asked the question. I want to know. Now we know. Now we know. But he still deserves a fair trial, regardless. He started getting in trouble at the age of 6, 7. But what he did was minor to compare what the twins did. He deserved a new trial. He really deserves a new trial. Or a mistrial. I am praying for a mistrial, and I'm still praying for a mistrial. So, Judge Chidi has not made a decision yet, because I think they're coming back in court this morning, and he won't. He's giving Russell Wilson and the prosecutor time to get the evidence together to present it to him. I keep telling y'all, this man is a fair man. He's not wasting his time when they had to go out and get him out of retirement. I have described how this man is, and he ain't got time for this. It's all going to be in a nutshell. Karmelo Anthony, I'm keeping you in my prayer, son. Russell Wilson, I'm keeping my prayer, where he will make a decision to end this. But Karmelo Anthony do deserve a fair trial. Y'all, I'm very choked up behind this. I'm very upset behind this. So this is what the gentleman's agreement was keeping. That's the reason why I think Michael Howard agreed to the gentleman's agreement, because he didn't want all this on Karmelo Anthony, his client, to come out on him. But you don't know the truth until you start digging. Sorry, y'all. Drug neutral. Now, his defense team said they understand of the agreement, but the prosecutor dispute the interpretation. Michael Howard did testify. About the agreement. It was the intention to have Karmelo Anthony prepared to testify in his own behalf. But Karmelo Anthony said he didn't trust the agreement enough to take the stand. So if Karmelo Anthony didn't trust the prosecutor to take the stand, maybe he shouldn't have testified. Now they want to say that the uncertainty around the agreements. I just get upset. I am very upset about this. To influence Karmelo Anthony's decision to give up his constitutional rights to testify. Yo, this is a young man. Like I said, I don't understand the law, and I couldn't make no decision like that myself. This young man is nervous. He's scared. The only person he could trust is his parents, and the parents couldn't talk for him, but so much, and he had to put his trust in an attorney and God. Toby Shook testified Friday, and he was on the original defense team. Shook said the defense believed the argument covered what happened underneath the tent, including Karmelo Anthony's testimony about the event. He also testified that Karmelo's competence in the agreement was brokered after the disagreement arose. Shook testified that the belief of Karmelo taking the stand could have strengthened the self-defense case. It could have, but like I said, I'm not the attorney, so I wouldn't know what to say. Results in the injury considering the manslaughter rather than murder. To be honest with you, and I think I said it in the last trial, this could have went two ways: accidental or self-defense. He's protecting himself from those two big boys. Both of those boys were each were over 200 pounds, 200 some odd number of pounds. That's 400 some odd numbers, almost 500 pounds, beaten on this young boy, this young man. That could have been accidental or self-defense. And that's the way that could have been ruled. Jeff Mancas, you pushed this. And now you all innocent. No, you're not. Because your sons had a big part of this. And you gonna get up on Nation News? Please. I don't want to hear nothing you have to say. You created these two young men as M's. Karmelo Anthony's parents didn't create him as that. They taught him. They taught him. And they taught him. I don't think Karmelo Anthony ever put his hand on nobody. I don't remember hearing it or reading it nowhere. Because he played a lot of those games. That might have gotten in his brain, but nah. Because we, as our race, we don't play with our kids like that. Let one of them put their hands on us. That'll be the first and the last. They make it real quick. And I don't play that. Never. Text messages. Y'all, these text messages. Text messages are very disturbing. And it hurts. It hurts me. And that's why I tell my kids all the time, be careful what you put on these phones. It's a record. Because it can be subpoenaed in court. Oh. The allegation forming the girlfriend, that's a joke to me. I wouldn't even worry about it. Because the girl's still with him. She's still with him. If he did all that and said all that, why she with him? Because any man call me out my name, I'm done. I tell my children that all the time. Anybody call you out name, don't bother. Move on. Life is too short. Now she said that. Or she just hate she went to administration that because nobody knew. But why is she still with him? My question. Now, how you can get on the stand and testify for him? How can you? If he was just such of a him. You know, y'all might have been taking that funny game and joke. But the law don't take nothing like that funny game and joke. Females get abused every day by the hand of a man and die every day by the hands of a man. If Karmelo Anthony was abusive to you, why would you be with him right now? I tell my girls that every day. Man being abused to you, leave. You can get materialistic stuff. You can't get to like that. Yo, I'm hurting right now. I'm hurting because I'm disappointed. Oh yeah, Dill's gonna bring Austin Metcalf's background out as well. But I'm not really worried about the Metcalf boys, twins. I'm not really. Because they try to paint them as a perfect set of twins. And they did a lot. There was information that the prosecutor did not want to come out about the Metcalf, about those twins. And the only ones to talk about the late Austin. No, you want to talk about both. I have a problem. I really have a problem. Now, I listen to the father. The father is a bully himself. Okay, let's just get that out there. And he taught these kids how to bully people. He has said everything nasty under the sun. We all witnessed that when he came to social media. So where do you think the twins got it from? The father. Can't say too much about the mother because the mother kind of quiet. Yes, she's going to take up for her son, but she knew that those twins was awful. You know, that's the time she should pull out those little switches and sting them legs when they were very young. Because I'm willing to bet you Karmelo Anthony got some switches on them legs plenty of days because them parents wasn't playing. He might have did what he wanted to do when he got away from them, but when they got wind of, they tore his behind up. Can't say that over here with these twins. When you got children fighting you, oh no, there was no structure in that household. And sorry, Mr. Metcalf, you didn't have no structure. You taught these kids how to be bullies how to bully people, how to threaten people, and do what they want to do. They can do what they want to do to people at the age of 10. When your twins broke a child's shoulder or something like that, or when one of the twins broke the child's shoulder, what happened to that? And always using the N word. Yeah, Karmelo Anthony might have used some words, but he didn't do it to one race. He did it all. When he said other things, he said it all. So if that race would bother him that day, he said to that race. If that race would bother him that day, he said that race. But your son only target one race. And now you got a foundation. Really, I wouldn't put nobody through that. Do you have any legal documents that you can open up a foundation? Oh, yeah, you can open the foundation because you got to have NIN and LLC. But do you have any special training and counseling? Because it sounds like you need to go to counseling. And you wouldn't counsel nothing of mine, not even my pet. Do you have any legal counselors on your team that know how to counsel? Any mental health counselors on your team? I wouldn't go nowhere near you. Your son's in a text said that he has some mental issues, fighting, bullying, messing with girls. Go back and just listen and read everything. Well, you was in court, you should know. Y'all, I'm not here for the Mancat twins. I'm sorry. Not. I'm only here for Karmelo Anthony. And pray that he can get out of this mess. You know, Karmelo Anthony, you have epilepsy. But that's a medical issue here. That wasn't brought up in the text, none of that. And that, I'm not even going to touch that. That's a whole different thing there. Whole different thing there. I'm getting ready to come to a close now because I am very upset about all this. But I had to come back. I should have came last night, but I was very, very tired. So I didn't want to get on live, very tired. And it takes a lot out of me when I'm very tired. So I had to lay down. That's the reason why I couldn't do this last night. I had to do it early this morning because I know they're supposed to be going back into court sometime today. I'm always going to be a supporter of Karmelo Anthony. Even though the allegations, but they're calling for the facts. That is the facts. All I want this young man to receive a fair trial. These are two separate questions. Can you dislike something that you read in the text message and still believe that the Constitution due process apply to everybody? Yes, the Dream Team has their work to cut out. And they're going to have to address some good things. This does make me feel uncomfortable. But he did do some good in the community. He did save a young boy's life. He did do some good things. He did not hurt no one. He did save a young boy's life. Judge Cheaty will come with a ruling soon, but Judge Cheaty is not going to come with a ruling until he get all the evidence. And I would not blame him. I keep telling y'all, this man is a real man. He's fair. He came out of retirement to take this case on. I told you how you're going to do it. You may give Karmelo Anthony a chance because he know kids are kids. He got grandkids himself. He got kids himself. He got raised kids himself. But during our time, we didn't have all those video games. We just had tree limbs and sand, and that's all we had to protect ourselves. Grab a handful of sand and throw it in somebody's face. But now they got too much other stuff. We didn't have all this excitement on television because we didn't watch TV anyway. We was outside. And see, Judge Chidi, that's where he came. And he has children himself. He had grandchildren himself. He's not going to tolerate this foolishness. But he's going to overlook that because none of that was documented in public record until this trial. So he really looking at him with a clean slate. That's the way I see it. But I don't know. But the main character twins have so much in writing with the law. Everything that Karmelo Anthony has really was hearsay or allegations. You know, taking his father's car, switching a license tag. People do that every day when they can't pay the car insurance. But I never did it because I ain't going to jail for nobody. But y'all, I'm here just to keep Karmelo Anthony in prayer, praying that Judge Chidi will make the right decision. And I thank him for giving the Dream Team time and the prosecutor time to come up with some more strong evidence. But I'm praying that the Dream Team will come with some strong evidence and to save Karmelo Anthony. I have my little one. But y'all keep me in prayer. I'll be out today listening. I got some more work to do. This is my studio back here. I have my own small business, and I got some work to do in my small business this morning. But y'all have a great and pleasant morning. My name is Lady of Elegance Collections, Lady E. Y'all see me with my pearls on this morning. And this is what I make. I make jewelry. And besides my other stuff, just go to my bio, Lady of Elegance Collections, and my bio is out there. Everything I make and everything I do by my hands. I'm planning to retire soon, so this is going to be my retirement job. Y'all have a great and pleasant morning, and I'll see y'all later this afternoon because I got some work to do. Bye-bye. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.